So today we are going over the most overpowered weapons in Fortnite history. So over the years we have received a load of different weapons, and some of them being very good and some of them not so good. So today we are going over the most overpowered weapons, and if you ever came up against somebody using these, then it was never a fun battle. So first up, it is going to be the Infinity Blade. Now, this weapon released in Chapter 1 Season 7, and it was located at Polar Peak. And it was quite difficult to get this at first, but once you did get it, then you were pretty much unstoppable for the entire match. It dealt 75 damage to enemies, and it did destroy structures, and if you played when this was in the game, then you'd definitely understand how difficult it was to beat somebody using this weapon. And Fortnite even added this weapon to competitive as well, so yeah, that was pretty crazy, but I think we all remember how overpowered this weapon was. And same goes with Double Pump. Now, this was a strategy where you could switch quickly between two different shotguns and obviously deal lots of damage instantly. This was during the beginning of Chapter 1, and then it did eventually get removed after a few seasons. And you could have also done this with tac shotguns as well, so it wasn't just the pumps, but yeah, this was an insane strategy to use. And another very overpowered weapon has to be the drum gun, when it first got introduced in Chapter 1 Season 4. And what made this weapon so overpowered was the magazine size. So it had 50 bullets per clip, and you could just shred through builds and enemy players with this SMG. And then it did get vaulted during Season 5, but then it did return through the unvaulting event, which did take place in Season 8. And this weapon did return during Chapter 2 in the Agency, when it was the mythic weapon for Midas. So another very overpowered weapon, specifically when it did get first added. And speaking of SMGs, the compact SMG was very similar to the drum gun. This SMG was very overpowered when it was first added to the game during Chapter 1 Season 5, and this was when the spray meta was very popular, and the legendary rarity weapon of this did deal 24 damage, and just like the drum gun, also had a 50 bullet magazine, so you could literally just spray people with this weapon for so long. But it did also fire 11 bullets per second, so this one was probably one of the most insane weapons when it did come to the spray meta. And unlike most SMGs, this weapon was also very good at medium range, and one that we can't forget about is the Infinity Gauntlet. This is considered a weapon, and was of course in the game during the Thanos LTM, during Chapter 1 Season 4, and this was a mythic rarity weapon which transformed the player into Thanos, and from there you received all of his abilities. You had the laser beam, you had the super high jump, you had a full shield, and increased health. And you also did 80 damage per punch as well, so if you became Thanos, then you were pretty much invincible. It was very overpowered, and obviously was an amazing LTM. And number one, of course, has to be the Zapatron. This thing was so overpowered that Fortnite literally removed it after only being in the game for a couple of hours. One of the most broken weapons in Fortnite history. It didn't even last a single day of being in the game, and obviously a very insane weapon, legendary rarity, and yeah, this thing hasn't been seen since Season 1. So those are some of the most overpowered weapons in Fortnite history, and if you did enjoy the video, then don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more, and there's a lot more videos on screen here. Make sure to click another one to keep on watching, and I'll see you over there.